A partnership that not only addresses the pressing issue of retaining talented educators, but also signifies a pivotal movement in the evolution of this organization's mission. Today, we are joined by Teach for America South Carolina's Executive Director, Courtney Waters. Courtney, thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to talk about, the teacher shortage is an increasingly talked about topic, but I think that there still is a lot of lack of understanding of how big of an issue this is. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, and I'll first say that not only is it not completely understood in terms of what is the experience of a teacher like every day, I don't think that people understand that it's not an issue we're going to be able to recruit ourselves out of, and that what we actually have occurring is a teacher retention crisis. And so we are facing profound shortages. There are years when we have in the 1500s of empty classrooms on the first day of school, and still more. That number increases during mid-year as teachers leave and say, it's October, I've had enough of this and I'm leaving. And it's really attributed to myriad factors.
Okay, and now what do you think is one of the top contributing factors to the shortage?
Yeah, so I think, so you can look at any set of lists, and one reason or another might rise to the top, but I would say that overall there's a lack of respect and appreciation for the profession as a whole. Certainly the way that teachers go into this field and are encouraged to be great at the profession, go and attain professional development and achieve higher levels so that your instructional practice could improve, that system of support is not fully in place. Certainly the pay is extremely low for the time and energy that teachers have to give, for the issues that are ever evolving that teachers have to adjust and learn how to deal with. And then also, they're not respected enough in their practice to be the ones who lead the decision making and the strategy development about what happens in schools.
And now the schools that are affected most, where do you see that manifest? Like what areas?
Yeah, so in our state, and so Teach for America South Carolina really takes a statewide approach, but in the PD and in the Low Country, teacher retention rates are the lowest.
And now I would like to talk about the partnership you have with the Coastal Community Foundation. A lot has came from that, and I would really like you to speak to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one, it's rare that you can find a grant that will enable you to cover all the costs you need to launch a new initiative. As nonprofit organizations, we really get pigeonholed into, the way that people perceive our work to occur. And with the New Teacher Academy, we really wanted to step out and evolve the way that we were working and open up our teacher development, which is really the bread and butter, the heart of what we do, develop novice talent. And we wanted to offer that to more than just Teach for America teachers, because in a given building, all teachers need to have the efficacy level increased so that they're working together and teaming better. Imagine walking into a work environment where you are getting one type of training and the person next door to you is getting a whole different type of training, yet you are teaching the same kids throughout the day.
Yeah. So the New Teacher Academy really focuses on like the development foundation?
It does. So there's many statistics that show that teachers are most likely to leave the profession within the first 5 years. And a lot of that has to do with not being appropriately supported through those initial years. Teaching is very difficult. In the 2 years that I spent in the classroom, I struggled not just with content delivery, but the stamina to keep going when all of the issues began to compound became very difficult. And so that lack of support leads a lot of teachers who might have been excellent to think that the profession just isn't for them.
Yeah. And now, do you have any stats on the top of your head that you can kind of speak to how this program has helped retain teachers?
Yeah. So I'm happy to say that in last year, we retained all of our teachers, 100% of them in year. And as I mentioned before, if we have classrooms filled the first day of school, they need to stay filled throughout the school year so that students are getting what they need from the learning environment. And so we do have 100% in-year retention. Now, some teachers do leave the district to go find other jobs. We don't have any statistics about whether or not those teachers have left the profession totally, but in one of our districts, I know we were able to retain 75% of teachers from one year to the next. And so that's great, because in the areas where we're going to teach, there are entire departments of teachers that are gone. So, you know, I think an entire math staff not present in a given school. And so it's really important that we do this work and that we deliver it in a way that teachers feel like they can keep going as a result of it.
Yeah, and now has the partnership with the Coastal Community Foundation kind of influenced maybe the approach or the technique that Teach for America goes about in South Carolina?
You know, I would say it has given us the hope and the ability to continue to serve in the areas we've always wanted. You know, the rural areas are the heart of our work. So, you know, your Colleton counties, your Jasper counties, and counties in the PD, et cetera. And the Coastal Community Foundation, specifically focusing on this end, the low country coastal regions, has really been a bright spot because it can be very difficult to get resources to those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And now where can our viewers go to learn more about Teach for America?
So they can always go to teachforamerica.org. We have a site on the primary page, but then we also have our Instagram, our Teach for America South Carolina Instagram page. They can also go and learn about the work. And they can certainly reach out to me at Courtney.Waters@teachforamerica.org. I'm always happy to have a one-on-one with anyone.
Wonderful, Courtney. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're back after this.